Hey, what's good everybody? It's Dom the Tap King, and today's deck tech is Anikthea, Hand of Erebos. Let's get it.
Tapkings, baby.
Alright, so we have Anikthea. Basically what she does, she has menace. Other enchantment creatures you control have menace. Whenever Anikthea enters the battlefield or attacks, exile up to one target non-aura enchantment card from your graveyard. Create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 3/3 black zombie creature in addition to its other types. So basically, we're going to be dumping into our yard, bringing them back with the commander, and just abusing her effect. We're going to be blinking her. We're going to be milling ourselves. So if you like one-sided mass land destruction and enchantment control, this deck is definitely for you. If you're a feminist, she a bad bitch. So definitely you want to pick this one up. We're gonna go jump down to enchantments real quick so you can see the meat and potatoes the way this deck is ran. So the backbone of this deck, the way we get to the one-sided mass land destruction, living plane, treat all lands in play as both as 1/1 creatures. They may not be tapped for mana for the first time to come in. Right? Old language, but you get it. Summoning Sickness. And then you have Nature's Revolt, a little bit more affordable. All lands are 2/2 creatures. So basically both of these do the same thing. We're gonna convert lands, turn them into creatures, so we can target them with creature removal. Let's see what else we got here. Bring back from the yard. As you start to create tokens, creature tokens with your commander, you're gonna start popping people's mana crits, you can start popping people's other enchantments, Mox Diamond, what else we got here? Yeah. Jewel Lotus, well, you shouldn't leave that on the battlefield. So you should pop it. If it's on the battlefield, pop it. Definitely target that.
A nigga gonna stand on business every time.
But basically, Soul Rings is a good. People like when you destroy their mana rocks. And you should be the only one on the battlefield with enchantments. You gotta be the queen, be king or queen, they, them, whatever. I don't discriminate. So make sure you're the only one that's showing presence of enchantments on the battlefields. That's what this deck is about. Black Market Connection. Basically resources, bring back from the yard, drop a funny, another great card. During your upkeep, the creature in play with the lowest power is destroyed and cannot be regenerated. Also, if there's two creatures with the same power, you choose which one gets destroyed. That's basically a fast version of what all that word said. All those words mean. Take into account that you're going to be turning opponent's lands into creatures, so they all should be 1/1s or 2/2s. So if you don't have the capability yet to do mass land destruction, then just start popping every blue creature off the battlefield and just get rid of them. Exquisite Blood, Sanguine Bond, you guys get it. That's infinite combo enchantments. I don't have life link in here. I might have one way to get life link, but it's really, I didn't really make the deck for that. But when my opponent loses life, I gain life, and you see where that goes. Growing ranks. Basically, we are creating more creature tokens of the tokens that we created. So once you have like 2 or 3 next blooms on the battlefield, it gets pretty crazy. Hollow Haunting is good. It gives all your enchantment creatures, all your enchantment creatures have flying and vigilance. If you have 7 more enchantments, easy to do in this deck. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you create a spirit cleric creature token. This creature's power and toughness are equal to the number of spirits you control. So they build up on each other and they start to build momentum. If this card doesn't get checked, it overruns the battlefield. Karma Justice is really good. So if they target your handful of artifacts or your artillery of enchantments, your arsenal of enchantments, then you just start popping at lands. Usually you want to target the blue ones first, leave the green ones last. But basically, you're doing the right thing. Anytime you see blue lands, just pop those. But basically, the way this card works is, if they target normally it should be a deterrence. However, you might have 1 or 2 brave souls that will target one of your enchantments, which is not a big deal. We'll just bring it back. However, you're gonna take one of their lands, and I only pop lands with Karmic Justice. That's why it's there. Legion Loyalty, more TBs with the commander. Also, this cards, it's creature cards that we have here that like to see enchantments ETB, so I can draw more cards. This is another way of doing so. Leyline, Immersion, just a decent ramp enchantment. Went over that one. Necromancy is good. Synergizes really well with the deck. Basically, you can target it with a commander. It does not. It's not an aura until it ETBs. So that's something to consider. Out of the tombs. So this is one of the couple ways that we do have to self-mill. So this comes into 40, the Warhammer 40,000K. I'm not a player of that, so I think that's what it's called. It's 40K or Warhammer 40K. Anyway, so it was in one of the pre-cons. At the beginning of your upkeep, put 2 Eon counters on Out of the Tomb, then mill cards equal to the number of Eon counters on it. If you would draw a card while your library has no cards in it, instead return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. If you can't, you lose the game. So this card is really good. It also starts to self-mill really fast at a fast pace. There was never a situation where I was scared that I was gonna die from self-milling, because you still have that contingency plan of having creatures in your yard to bring back to the battlefield when you don't have any cards in your deck. Also, if it gets too crazy, you can just really destroy it with Aura Shard. Pestilin, board wipe on the stick. Once you bring it back from the yard, instant speed, you can't beat it. Ripples of Undeath, basically self-mill as well. But I like this one a little bit more because you get to put a card by paying one mana and 3 life. One of the cards that you mill that based off this effect, and then put it into your hand. So that's really good. So at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, mill 3 cards. Then you may pay 1 and 3 life. If you do, put a card from amongst the cards into your hand. So yeah, normally always pay it anyway. Just get a land. Normally leave all the big enchantments in there. That's the whole purpose of the deck. However, get a land, get a sorcery, get an instant, get something. Worst case, get an enchantment, but don't get one that you can bring up next turn and become a threat. Have it become a threat on the battlefield, such as Sandworm Convergence. This one, when it hits the battlefield, is really good. It makes a token at the end of turn, which I really do like. They be 5/5 green creatures, green worm creatures. Also, creatures with flying can attack you or planeswalker you control. That's cool. I just like the 5/5 green worm creature tokens. Smother and Tide, why not? Resources. This is another copy of our commander. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may return target enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield. As long as you control 5 or more enchantments, each other non-aura enchantment you control is a creature in addition to its other types, and has base power and base toughness, each equal to its mana value. Love it, love it. We're gonna blink the commander with that. Trouble in Pairs. I always read this as Trouble in Paris. I don't know why, but it's Trouble in Pairs. I don't read it slow. If an opponent would begin an extra turn, say no. Whenever an opponent attacks you with 2 or more creatures, draws their second card each turn or casts their second spell each turn, draw a card. This is just card advantage. We love it. We want it. More cards is always better. It's more better. Utopia Sprawl, good. Wild Growth is the same thing. Virtue of Persistence. Basically, that's gonna just kind of bring back a creature at the upkeep. So this is great. We're not gonna hard cast this. We can, especially once we start getting a couple copies of Next Boom on the battlefield. But yeah, we would definitely have the capability of hard casting. But again, we want to take advantage of our commander, keep blinking her, keep bringing stuff from the yard back to the battlefield, and keep pushing forward. So again, we're gonna target the lands. After we target the lands, target a blue player. After you do that, win the game. So that's usually how that runs. So we are on creatures now. Creature package is pretty straightforward. Either we're going to be drawing cards, producing mana, or killing creatures. Couple other ones like everyone's favorite unicorn, Emil, but let's go through it. So we'll go through it fast. Draw a card. Enchantment comes in, draw a card. Mana. Protection from enchantments and creatures, which is really good. It's relevant. This one, Doomwake Giant. Constellation, whenever Doomwake Giant or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, creatures your opponent control get -1 into the end. -1/-1 to the end turn. So basically, this is half the combo. Obviously, Living Plane, Nature's Revolt. Once they're on the battlefield, we're gonna try to beeline into here. Normally, we're able to do it with turn 5 or 6, either with Doomwake or Elish Norn. Queen Bee. She's actually the Queen Bee. She's the OG. But yeah. So basically, Doomwake Giant. This is another one. Eidolon of Blossom, draw, mana, Elvish Third Guide. It's just a free land. It's free mana. Like you should, if you run green, even Any green deck should just run this, even if it's casual, like it's just free mana. Anyway, Emil of the Blessed, everyone's favorite unicorn. Obviously, we're gonna be abusing this card with our commander to bring more enchantments from the yard onto the battlefield. Esper Sentinel, who doesn't like Esper? Fanatic of Rona, so mana. Galgori Thug. This one is good. It has Dredge 4 for only 2 mana. It's probably one of the better Dredge cards. Also as a blocker early game. We don't care. We just want it in the yard. We don't care how we get it there. Whenever this card dies, put target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. So it does have some other good effects, but basically we're there for the dredge. We want to see dredge, want more dredge, want to keep milling. So that's another way for us to self-mill. Lotho, Corrupt Sheriff, really good card. Next boom, mana, draw, plus a little life gain, which is cool, which is nice. It doesn't change the game much, but it's nice. 6 is a really good card. Let's go over 6 for a little bit. So it's one of the newer cards. Tree Folk, let's go. Bang back, Muscle Gang.
Daddy, chill.
All right, let's go. So it has reach 2/4. Whenever 6 attacks, mill 3 cards. You may put a land card from among them into your hand. Really good. As long as it's your turn, non-land permanent cards in your graveyard have retrace. What is retrace? I got you. You may cast permanent cards from your graveyard by discarding a land card, in addition to paying their other costs. Straightforward, it's really good. It helps us bring back pieces that we don't necessarily want to exile with the commander just yet. Bring back a Jew Lotus is nice. So it has a lot of value. 6 is a really good card. I feel like it's undervalued, but I like it. I think I'm gonna pick up a few more copies of this one. Not financial advice, do what you want. Let's bump down to Sorceries. Sorcery is pretty cool, straightforward. Buried Alive, very cool. Straightforward, putting creatures into the yard. Which creatures? It depends. It depends. Maybe the Unicorn, maybe Elish Norn, maybe the Doomwake Giant, who knows? Or maybe all 3. Most likely, depending on what's being presented, I'll probably do Elish Norn, Horsey, and maybe the Thug. Alright, Buried Alive, so that's there. Commune with the Gods. This is a really good card. Works really well with this deck. So basically what you do is reveal the 5 cards of your library. You may put a creature or enchantment card from among them into your hand. Put the rest into your graveyard. 9 out of 10 times we're just gonna dump all the cards that were revealed into the yard. I'm not trying to put enchantments into my hand or big CMC creatures. If it's a reanimate, obviously, well not reanimate, I'm sorry, animate dead, Dance to the Dead, anything of that nature, of course we'll put it in our hands. I'm talking about the big CMC. This is just to get more cards from our deck into the yard. Same thing with this card. It does it, but just with more cards. Reveal the top 6 cards of your library. Put up to 3 enchantment cards from among them into your hand, and the rest of the revealed cards into your graveyard. Just don't put all them in your yard. You don't need them. Colon Ritual, great card. I mean, you're in the colors, why not? Life Death, really care. The life part is cool, but we're not using it for the life part. We're gonna just use it for the death part. Let's use our life to bring back something that we want. Elish Norn, Giant, whatever. Horsey, you pick. Reanimate, same concept. Unmarked Grave, just fill in the yard. That's all we're doing. Alright, so our 2 protection pieces are right here. Autumn's Veil and Veil of Summer. Classic. Those are consistently in most green decks, and they're good. Honestly, you can't beat it. Spells you control can be countered by blue or black spells this turn, and creatures you control can be targeted by blue or black spells. This one lets you draw a card, which I like. Dark Blast, we're using it for the dredge. You might be able to take out a Mana Dark, or what is it, Orcus Bowmaster. I said Bullish Dark. Orcus Bowmaster, you can take that out. And then once it's in the yard, that dredge 3 is really nice. Dark Ridge, of course. Entomb, straightforward. Enlightened Tutor and Worldly Tutor. So with Survey Lands and us doing self-mill, these cards are really good. Really good, especially when we start self-milling on our upkeep. It's amazing. Or we could just play it, then play our Survey Land for the turn, and basically just feed our graveyard. And then just once we swing, get that trigger, whatever we pulled on top of the deck is in the yard now. Now it's on the battlefield, now they gotta deal with it. It's kind of one of those things. Path to Exile, Swords of Plowshell, Plowshare is by far the 2 best removal in the game. Like, yeah. For 1, exile. Bye, bitch. Like, that's basically what it's saying. This one is cool. You get some life. It really doesn't matter. This one gives you a land. Like, the downside, there's really no downside. Artifacts. Arcane Signet, Jewel Lotus, Mana Crypt, Soul Ring. Straightforward. There was a 5th one here. I can't remember what it was. I think it was one of the blinking ones, the ones that let you blink a creature at the end step. Can't remember what it was called. But basically, we just want mana. This helps me bring out Commander faster, 3 turns faster, which is really good. This helps. Mana Crypt is just a good card. I would run it in every deck. Casual, high power, obviously cedh. 0 for 2. Take the 3. I don't even care about the 3. I really don't care about that. Life is a resource, so take it. There's a risk associated with it. But for 2 mana, that's a win. That's a win every time. If you don't have this card, you don't need the rare one, just proxy it. You know, if you have a printer, if you have a basic land, you have a pen, a Sharpie, just do that. Like, no one really cares. Unless it's like a sanctum, like sanction, like tournament, no one cares. So just proxy that shit. So finally, we have lands, 31 lands. Even in casual, even high power, I'm not. I see people with like 37, 38, 39, 40 lands. It's crazy, and they're not even landfall decks. Like, just chill out. 31 lands is cool. Casual high power, I might do like between 31 to 33 lands, depending on which mana rocks I run. Like, for instance, I don't even have many mana rocks. This is pretty low to the ground, but no issues. We have mana darks. You're in green, so you have mana darks. You get to alleviate some of that. But Ancient Tomb is a good one. Again, if you don't have it, just proxy it. I think this is the only fetch land we run here because I had an extra. I do run all 3 dual lands. Because I have them, I use them. I use all my cards, with the exception of 9 of them. But yeah, if you have them, use them. You don't need it for this deck. It just helps. It helps with mana. I mean, you know, it's easier once you have them. But again, you can also proxy these as well. So in regards to utility lands, it's basically straightforward with most of these lands. It's gonna just produce two colors. I have 1 basic of each. Oh, these are my favorite. These Phyrexian lands are my favorite. Love them all. Love them all. Usually every other week, I try to get a few, like a handful, just to kind of keep in my inventory. These are, yeah, I could put these lands into any deck. I love them. So let's go back. We got Command Tower, this one, Black Mark Salvage. So this is Dredge, obviously. Survey lands, the ones I was telling you about. I think I run all 3. You like pull, do. Oh, this one's good. Sierra Sanctum, add 1 white mana to your mana pool for each enchantment you control. Very strong card in this deck. Again, if you don't have it, just proxy it. If you have a Plains card, just write it in basic description. Most people should know what this card does. Shifting Woodlands, it's a really good card. I like it. One of the new cards as well. Basically, the Delirium, pay 2 green. Shifting Woodland becomes a copy of target permanent card in your graveyard until end of turn. Activate only if there are 4 more card types among cards in your graveyard. It's crazy. I love it. Comes to play on tap. Oops. If you have a forest. Great card. It's very inexpensive. You could get it for less than 5, honestly. Dual lands, then these guys. So basically, yeah, that's basically it. If you like I said, if you like one-sided mass land destruction, this deck is for you. If you like to troll your opponents, this one is for you. If you want to stay under the radar and then have like eventful turns, this deck is definitely for you. She is a sleeper commander. A lot of people may run her differently. I just saw the opportunity to do mass land destruction, so I took it and ran with it. I love enchantments. I'm working on a second enchantment deck, Gruul. We'll see how that comes, but this one specifically, she does what she does really well. Being able to utilize the yard and bringing back enchantments as creature tokens is really huge. You can double tap into their effects, you know, so if you hard cast and then bring it back. So definitely versatile. If you like this video, if you like this deck tech, please leave a comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification, and like always guys, stay blessed.
baby.